I quietly assumed that working late nights after putting my kids to bed, or even working through weekends just to prepare for the week ahead, was the price to pay for my high tech career. I was so wrong, and I learned some of the lessons much later in my career. In this video, I'd like to share with you some of those lessons that I wish my younger self had learned and incorporated into my ways of working. Hello, my name is Vasanta Gullapalli. I've been in the tech industry for nearly 30 years and the last 8.5 years with Amazon. I have been through burning the midnight oil, working through weekends, and have been close to burnout many single times. It's only much later in my career when I observed some of the strongest, successful professionals around me, I really understood what it takes to create boundaries and protect them. It all starts with being able to say no and being bold enough to bring up those trade-off discussions when priorities are colliding. In this video, I'd like to share with you 5 things that you should think about and reflect upon and incorporate into your ways of working so you're able to better protect your boundaries. The first one is really the basics. Really understand what your true capacity is. What I mean by capacity, for example, you may be thinking your typical workday is about 8 hours, so you will plan all your tasks within those 8 hours. But in any work environment, there are things like team meetings, reviews, helping your team members, coffee chats, code reviews. All of these take time. So in reality, you really have less than 8 hours. And as you're growing in your career, it's even lesser because you're expected to be in a lot more meetings, review other people's designs and code, not just yours, and also be part of like strategic discussions and doc reviews and so on and so forth. So really understand what is your capacity to take on tasks within a day or week. Once you do that, then the next is about learning how to estimate your tasks. This is where a lot of early stage professionals, especially those who are just transitioning from college, need some adjustment to make. For example, in school, your deadlines are set by your teacher. They give you all the details of your assignment, and then they also tell you the deadline by when you need to submit. In work, it rarely works that way. So you are given a task. Usually not all the details are spelled out up front. You're expected to estimate and come up with the timeline yourself. This may sound very empowering, but there's a lot of responsibility in this. You need to know really how to break down your task and estimate that diligently, be able to track and spot when there are changes in your scope or some other reality changes where it may need a timeline change or an estimate change. Also, be proactive in communicating. Ask for help before it is too late. So when you ask for help, it gives a chance to your manager and your stakeholders to truly evaluate the trade-offs and either reduce scope and bring the project back on track or change the timeline and let everybody else know. The second thing is the nice guy trap. I've seen this play out many single times, especially those who are high performing, who have sort of created a niche for themselves in their team and are also generally nice and like to help others. They also have a hard time to say no. I am not advocating for saying no all the time. So when the next time somebody comes to your desk asking for a help with a bug or to review a design with you, instead of just jumping in and saying, sure, let's go for it, or just saying a blanket no, what I like you to consider is say something like, hey, I'll look at it for 30 minutes and if it needs more than that, I may have to reevaluate my commitments. This not only helps you be a lot more disciplined and diligent about your time, it also helps the other person because they start to respect your time. They know that it is not free and unbound. Anything that is free and unbound is not valuable. So remember, being nice should not come at the cost of your own boundaries and your commitments. The third one is the SME trap. I've seen this in many teams where one or two team members are usually specialized in some area or some module or a service that the team owns. There's not much knowledge share among rest of the team members. Some people view this as a way of having job security, but what it really does is it randomizes your time. You get pulled into unplanned tasks, like if there is a production issue involving that module, or if the manager is writing a strategy doc and he needs you to weigh in something related to that module. So what can you do if you're in this situation, right? First of all, identify that this is the problem. Work with your manager, document this area, and make the effort to spread the knowledge so others can share the load when there is a need. The fourth one is the curiosity trap. So this is where I've seen a lot of professionals, especially top performing ones, who are very curious. It's very hard for them to wear their blinders on and just keep working on one work stream. They like to understand what else the team is working on or keep up with some emerging tech or something, which is very useful in general. But make sure it is not unbound. Make sure it's not eating away time that you have allocated for your commitments. So remember, your curiosity should really compound your commitments, not come in the way of meeting them. Finally, even after doing all of this, there is always going to be reasons why you get pulled into unplanned things. For example, there could be a team emergency, a production issue, or something that you have volunteered yourself to help because you're interested in it. When such things happen, I see a lot of people hesitate to bring this up with their manager or stakeholders and ask for help to prioritize. They fear that they may be viewed as complaining or weak. Sometimes they even worry what kind of political ramifications it can have. But let me tell you something. Some of the best principal engineers or senior principals or distinguished engineers that I have known actually do this very well. They publish all their priorities very visibly upfront. When there is a new request for their time, they are very polite, but they also ask for help to prioritize it. Prioritize this new request against all the other priorities that they are already working on. This not only helps them be very efficient and effective, it also helps streamline the organization because it forces you to really understand the trade-offs and prioritize against competing priorities. To wrap it up, the 5 things that I want you to think about, the basics. Do you understand your capacity? Are you taking time to estimate diligently, track, and are you being proactive in communication? Are you being too nice? Being nice should not come at the cost of your own boundaries and commitments. Are you a SME and a single SME on any area in your team? Being an SME should be a superpower, not a time sink. Is your curiosity going unbounded? Your curiosity should help you compound your commitments, not come in the way. And finally, are you bringing up the trade-off discussions as and when necessary? I hope this video was useful for you and you got something to think about and ponder and reflect in your ways of working. I've written in much detail about this in my newsletter with lots of examples and real-life scenarios on how scope creep may look like and what it feels like when you're being pulled in many different directions. The link to it is in the description box below, so feel free to click and read. If you think somebody in your network would really benefit from listening to this, please share. I've also write about such real life examples and decisions that you need to make in my newsletter. So if you think that is of interest, consider subscribing. The link to it is also in the description box below. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And until next time, stay well.